is Jamie and this is my cross stitching channel. Welcome. Today is Sunday, June 4th, and I am here for a monthly update for the month of May. So there's a lot to show. I named my last video Almost a Whip Parade. That would have been more accurate for this one. I literally worked on everything except one project this time, so buckle up because it's going to be a lot. So in my last video, I had mentioned that I didn't really have any plans for Mania. I was probably just going to keep spinning the wheels, the decision wheels that I've been using. I have one for full coverage and then one for everything that's not. And I did that. Like I said, I went through every single option except for one full coverage piece didn't get worked on. So I think I did pretty good this month. But my mania, if you can call it that, I started to realize that a lot of my projects were like close to page finishes or like the section finish. So I ended up finishing, let's see, I had 7 page finishes. So that was kind of unexpected. I think one of those is a partial page, but otherwise I've finished off 6 other pages. Not that I stitched 6 full pages, but I just finished them. So yeah, so I've got 12 projects to show out of my 13 that I have currently going. And we'll just go ahead and get started. So the first thing I worked on in May was, oh, you know what? I am showing you everything. Because, sorry, I forgot that I actually worked on all of my projects technically because I had worked on this one that didn't get called later before I started that whole process. So sorry about that. Super prepared today. So I did work on everything. So 13 projects. The first one was North American Mammals, which is a Heaven and Earth Designs chart by the artist Ciro Marchetti. And this one didn't really see a lot. I kind of started into my wheels pretty quickly after I picked this one up. So I think I only worked on it for a day. And I got 274 stitches. And I believe this is on just a plain white 28 count Lugana 1/1 full cross. And this is where we're at from last time. So less than 300 stitches, but I believe I've been, sorry, I don't have anything to block the light through. There's like a page right here that I'm working on, and I was just going like this way. So I'm pretty sure all that work will be over on the other side. Hopefully you can see that. On such a small count, it's hard to see when you don't do several hundred stitches to see the difference. So, but this was the only one not called when I actually started my wheels again. So I never picked it up later in the month. I still got a little bit, so that's good. I would like to come back to this one this month, hopefully. Okay, so that was whip number 1. I have so much stuff going on. Okay, I'm back. Sorry for the break there. My husband called me right when I was getting through this. So I was just done with the first whip, so let's move to whip number 2, which was Fruits of Plenty. I have such a large pile of stuff, I can't find it. So this is a modern folk embroidery pattern. It was the 2021 stitch along. And I am stitching mine on an 18 count white Aida with 2 DMC colors, 820, which is blue, and 321, which is red. And this one, so my stats, I've broken it up into what I did in May. And then if I picked it up again in June, because obviously it's the 4th, so I've had a couple of days where I've picked up stuff again, then I kind of kept that separately. So total for this, I got 1,937 stitches. 1,340 was in May, and then I picked it up for another 597 for I think for the first 2 days in June. So got a pretty decent amount done this time around. So I'm just gonna show you the whole thing, and then I'll kind of maybe pull it in a little bit because I've moved around a bit when I was doing this one. All right, so this is where we're at from last time. Ugh, wrinkles. Sorry, I don't I don't iron or anything my projects. I just have them in Q-snaps, and so it causes wrinkles. Oh my goodness, this does not want to stay up. So that is my progress from last time. Hopefully those colors are showing up okay. So as you can see, I have finished quite a bit. I did get almost 2,000 stitches done. And I think I just hit 30% complete on this one. I kind of took that as a sign that I should stop working on it. So I'll pull it in a little bit over here because this is where the majority of those stitches happen. Oh my goodness. I like pre-folded these and everything, thinking I was so prepared. And the fabric is not wanting to work with me. Okay. So this is where I predominantly was working. Hopefully I have an okay comparison picture here. But I came up here, I came back to the middle section because I wanted to finish this whole motif. So this is all done. I came down here and did I did a partial bird and then the full bird on this side, started those vines and stuff down. And then the biggest thing was that I finally finished this first red band there. And I actually came over and filled in the rest of what was missing, as far as like the blue border and the rest of these red triangles. So all that is new. Really happy to be done with this red band here. I do really love the way it looks, but it just goes on forever. So, and then when I finished that, I came back to the other side a little bit. And I believe I pulled in, like, I'm not even gonna show a comparison because it's not that much different, but I did come in and start from the top and just go down here. I'm avoiding this band for just a little bit. Like I said, there was so much on that other side. I'm feeling a little burnt out with it, but I wanted to bring some of this down. So I got a really good progress on that one this time around. I was feeling like I was having a difficult time of it last time I pulled it out. So glad I was able to get a decent amount of progress this time. All right, so that was number 2. Number 3 is Tarotown 2, which is another Heaven and Earth Designs chart. And I did get a page finish on this one. So I did 1,471 stitches in May, and then another 510, I believe that was yesterday. I didn't add up the total, but it looks like it's 1,981 total. So I have this out of the Q-snap right now, so I figured I would show the whole thing because it's looking pretty cool. Hopefully I can get it in frame. So this is my project in its entirety. It looks so cool. I would encourage anybody who's working on a big full coverage, every now and then just pull it out of the whatever frame you've got it in, or scroll rods or whatever, and just look at the whole thing. At least for me, it helps me kind of appreciate all of the work I've put in, and I don't feel like I've just been, chugging along for nothing. There's definitely been progress, so like I said, I got just under 2,000 stitches on this one as well. I'll bring it into where I was working for the page finish. Oh, I forgot to say, Did I say this was Ciro Marchetti? I think I said Heaven and Earth Designs, but I'm not sure I said the artist. And mine's on a 25 count DMC Magic Guide 2/1 10 stitch. So the page finish I got was right here. So I believe it was like this page right here. I finally finished off the last little bit at the bottom. There were so many light colors in here. But I finished off the top part of this turret. So cool, you can see like the windows there in the tower now. So this is the page finish. The majority of what I've done was over here. So that's what I did in May. And then when I pulled it back out yesterday, was it yesterday? I asked my husband where to go because he's kind of invested in my projects sometimes. So I ask him sometimes where I should work on, especially if I'm having a hard time deciding. Ooh, sorry, I hit the table. Deciding for myself where to work. So I decided to come back to the far side of it. Oh my goodness, these ones with so much fabric are so hard to get where I want them. Okay, so I came back over under this balloon and then I added those other 500 stitches. I've just been, so the first page ends like right there behind this red flag. So I've just been kind of going from top down, pulling the first color and just stitching it in. I did fill in a little bit, like right here. One of my stitches popped out, so I wasn't happy about that. But one of my old, because I did this part such a long time ago, but I noticed that one of my stitches had come out undone. So I redid those. I think I might have done a little bit like up in here. And then if you can see right here, I finished off a color because I noticed there was only a few stitches left. So feeling a little bit burnt out on this one. When I started filling in this background, I wasn't really loving it that much. But so I'll go over in my plans kind of what I've been feeling like doing in the month of June. But so I thought it might be fun. So that's a max color version, regular size but max color, which means I think it was 237 I think colors in there. So ever since Pattern Keeper updated their app to show the 0, so when you hit a 0, you can remove those out of the list if you want to, and then you can sort it from least amount of stitches to most amount of stitches. And so I was curious to see how many colors I had finished, because I know I've finished some. So I have finished 17 colors total. And then I counted that 82 of my colors are at under 100 stitches left. 82 colors that have less than 100 stitches to go. And then of those 82, 37 colors have 10 or less stitches. So this is like kind of the frustrating part about max color. If you're not like in the spot where the colors are, you just have to wait till you get there. And it's like, I literally have like probably a dozen colors with one stitch left, but I can't finish them off because I'm not there yet. But it's fine. I'll get there eventually. I just thought that was kind of interesting. I was going through the different colors and realized that there were a few that I was right where I needed to be to finally finish them off. So I finished off like 3 more colors yesterday. But yeah, so that's kind of fun. Every now and then I go through the colors in that one and see where I'm at. But anywho, so that was whip number 3. Number 4 was Pandemic. And this is a long dog sampler pattern. And I'm stitching mine on a 28 count Lugana in the color Helix by Picture This Plus, 1/1 full cross with the MC color 939, which is a navy blue. I also got a page finish on this one, and I stitched Oh shoot, did I not? So my May stats was 1,740, but I'm pretty sure I did another like 520 something yesterday. Yeah, so I've put in, I think, almost 2,300 stitches on this one. So I'm gonna do the whole thing because I've again got it out of the Q-snap. So this is where we're at. The whole project. Don't know why my fabric does not want to work with me today. So this is where we're at for the whole thing. I have less than 3 pages to go now. And I think I'm almost at the 10,000 stitches left mark. So I said in my last video that my twisted band sampler was closest to a finish, but I'm not sure if that's true. Especially with the specialty stitches in that one, it takes me a little bit longer. So this one might actually be finished before that one, so we'll see. So that is my whole project, and I will bring it into where I was working. I actually have a couple of places to show because again, I've moved the frame. I don't think that was quite far enough. Okay, I think that's good. Okay, so the page I finished was this one over here on the side. So that is 100% done now. Got in my initials and all the rest of that motif, did the back stitching. So I think I was like about here-ish last time I showed you, so it took me several hundred stitches to finish that off. I'm really happy to get that done. It's been, I don't know if anybody else has worked on samplers. When you kind of break off in pages, sometimes, I don't know if it's just me, my brain doesn't like that the motif isn't finished. So it was definitely nice to come in and actually like finish off this one and put all these lines in and finish off this side of it. So that was my page finish. And then I did come back over to this side. I came back down to the bottom row and started working on this page. The break is about right here. So most of what I've done is filling in these lines, and then I started on this side of that big motif there. And this, I think all but like 100 stitches on this side were done yesterday. Sorry if you can hear my dog snoring. He's taking a nap on the floor behind me. He's kind of loud. So I have been averaging about a page finish a month on this one. I think I would like to keep that up if I could. That way this one would be done. Let's see, I have 3 pages left. So June, July, August. So by the end of August, I could have this done hopefully, which would work out nicely because I would like to do something like a start of some kind for my birthday, which is in August. So that would work out nicely. Okay, so next one is Beloved, which is another Heaven and Earth Designs chart. The artist for this one is Adele Sessler. And I'm stitching mine just on a plain white 28 count Lugana. This one is 2/1 10 stitch. And I got 2,362 stitches for another page finish. This one was probably farthest away from a page finish when I started working on it, but I really wanted to see more of his face. So that is where we are now. I have posted some of these page finishes on my Instagram. That's always found in the description box below if you ever want to look at my Instagram. That's in there. But yeah, I got over 2,300 stitches in to finish that page. I just wanted more of his face in there. Finally got, like, see, sometimes my page finishes take a little bit longer than probably most people because I just take the color and just run it wherever it goes that makes sense in my head. And sometimes it's going like off the page this way, especially when, you know, it's like these hair strands, they're like blowing that way. So it just makes sense in my head to keep following them. So I have to like keep like restarting to finish off the same color later in the page. But that's okay. Just means I get more of the picture in, right? These little vines on his face and like these strands of hair coming across, all of that is so confetti heavy. I feel like hair and plants are the worst. But definitely looks cool when it's all in there. My plan is probably to come down here and finish off his face. And I think I've mentioned before that this like dark shading right here, this is like the top of her head coming across his cheek. So that would be really cool to start working on her. I love this one. And it's only got like 27 colors, I think. So not a lot of color changing, which is nice in comparison to my max color, which is like color changes all the time. So love that one. Looks so cool. All right. So that was number 5. Whip number 6 was Mini Loyalty, another Heaven and Earth Designs chart. This one is by Cherie Gerhardt. And I'm stitching mine again, 28 count, 2/1 tent stitch. I swear I tried to be prepared for this, but the fabric has other ideas today. So this is the one that I got technically 2 page finishes, but one of them was the kind of thin page on the end. So 1 full, 1 partial, but I did stitch 1,465 stitches into this one. This is where we're at now. So there won't be any difference over here. But I finished off, so like there's this full page and then there's like, I think this much of a page off the end. But it was kind of fun to come in here and get like the top of the badger's head. And then I finished off this rivet and the shield, kind of defined the shield a little bit. So I'm really loving how that looks. This one is I don't know if I mentioned this is a mini, obviously. It's pretty small. I definitely would like to finish this one sooner than later, because I've got all 4 of them in the series, and I don't want to be stuck on these for too long. I feel like I could finish one of these like every 2 years probably, if I just kept up on it. But the problem with minis, I say problem, it's just, it's how they work. Because they're trying to put a lot of detail in such a small space, they have to use so many color changes to make it look good that the confetti can be like unreal. Especially in like stuff like this, where it's very like, you have to shape it, and yeah, you're changing colors all the time. The background's not too bad. Even the badger isn't too bad, but the details around like this filigree and stuff, yeah, it gets to me after a while. And like these, it's the worst around here, and then like shaping these those shapes in the back. But I would like to focus on this one a little bit more. So it took me way too long to finally get a page finish on this. But I think I'm up at like 18% done now or something. I might be too high on that percentage, but I can't remember. So hopefully I'll get some more of that done. When I reach a certain point, it may actually become like an everyday focus piece where I'm doing so many stitches a day to get it done within the year. I think that might be next year. I'll try to pick it up at least like 3 or 4 more times this year, maybe once a month for the rest of the year. And then starting the beginning of next year, that might be my focus piece to get my full coverage, because I have a lot of full coverage, if you couldn't tell. I would like to get some of them done. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then number 7, which you guys haven't seen in quite a while, was Winter Sampler by Kooler Design Studio. And I forgot to grab the cover page, so this is what it looks like. And I am stitching mine on a 32 count. I think it's ivory. I really need to write this down. I'm pretty sure it's ivory, 32 count ivory, 2/2 full crosses. And I'll show the full thing because there's more than just the side I was working on. I technically did get a page finish for this one, but it wasn't like, there was not that much left on it when I was starting on it. So this is the whole thing that I've done so far. And then the part I was working on, that one didn't work. Okay, and the part, oh my goodness, would you work with me here? Okay. So I came back in here. And the page finish I got, I was literally like, I had a couple of candies left down here, and then I had this little motif of flowers in the middle, and that was, I think that was it. I think I may actually have done these candies too. I had these two, this one, and then that little motif. So I finished off all the cross stitching. And then if you can see there, I started back stitching too. That looks so much better on the camera. In person, I'm like sitting there going, how wonky does this look? So I think I finished all of the ones for the bells here, like on the sides and further the inside around each bell. I'm pretty sure I got all of the stuff around the candy cane. Did I? Yeah. I got the whole candy cane on this side, and then I started coming around in these book pages. I just finished off like a short strand around this letter, and then I came down here and I stitched around this candy and that candy. So those are all done. And then I also stitched around, this candy's not done yet, this red and white one. This little gumdrop thing is, but I love how that looks. This is very like nostalgic for me because this is very reminiscent of what I used to see as a kid in like the 90s when I would look at cross stitching patterns. Like, this is the stuff that would be available. So I really enjoy working on this one. It's fun. My goal with this one, I'm not sure if I'm going to be using the wheels again in June. I'm still debating on that. But I'm focusing on back stitching. I will not start another page. This is me committing to myself. I think I actually did a little bit up around this diamond too to finish it off, but I'm committing that I will not start another page of stitching, regular stitching, until the back stitching is done on this section. So like the page, you can see where it broke off here. So it's like, that's a page, and then that's a page. So like the first page ends like here, and then there's another page down here. So once I finish the back stitching on these 2 pages, other than stuff that goes off the page, because I hate having to refigure out where I was, my brain works a little funny. So I will like finish like everything. I did go around the snow globe a little bit, but I didn't really do too much inside of it. I was kind of just, because there's like several different colors of backstitch. So I was kind of like picking one color, going through both pages and finishing off that color, and then coming back to another one and finishing it off. So that's kind of what I was doing. But I will not start any more stitching until all of the back stitching is done on this one, which isn't a ton. I do need to go around these flowers, but there's like a bunch of words and then the bookmark, and then I need to finish what's in here and these candies. And then I think there's like trees and stuff right here. Like what I did on this side, I need to repeat it. So it might take me a while. I think I did like a full day of back stitching and that's what I got done. But definitely looks super cool. I love how it's turning out. This is another one where I would rather not be stuck on it forever and ever and ever. So I'd never start the other seasonal ones because I want them all done. So, all right. So we've got the winter sampler. The next one was Realm of Middle-earth Extra Large from Tilton Crafts. You cannot get this pattern anymore. Unfortunately, it has been retired. I did get another page finish on this one, and it took me 1,729 stitches to get it. And this is where we are at from last time. So I believe I was like here-ish last time. So I finished everything down to the edge of the page. So the Han and Rohan is all done. I've been toying around which way I want to go on this one. I'm not sure. I was kind of playing around with like kind of doing like a circle almost around this. So like starting page up and then coming over until like this is all full and then coming up and just kind of like doing a circle around. Or maybe I'll just keep doing like a line either way so I can go up or down if I want to. Or maybe I'll do, I think Suki, the Brown Eye Stitcher, she's stitching this as well, but she started on this. So she started on this forest, but she went this way. And I think her idea was to go like this whole quadrant of the map and then come back and do the other ones. Maybe I might do something like that. Not sure. There's a lot of different ways I could go with this one because this is one page out of 153. So it's going to take me a while. But I would just like like to have oh my God, words. I would like to have a variety of places that I could stitch if I'm like not feeling, because like when you get into these details, there's lots of confetti, but then there's whole pages where it's just background. So like just these colors in the background. So I would just like to be able to pick from wherever I feel like stitching. So we'll see. If you guys have any opinions on where you want to see me work on this next. I know this is kind of a niche project, and I know not a lot of people probably care, but I like it. Lord of the Rings is one of my favorite stories, so anything in Middle-earth, really. The Hobbits are good, too. So that was another page finish. All right. So the next one is Twisted Band Sampler from Northern Expressions Needlework. I'm stitching mine on a white 32 count Lugana, 2/2 for the full crosses, and then 1 strand for the specialty stitches. And I worked on this for about 3 days, and I did finish the band I was working on. I had about half of it done last time. So, gotta lean back a little bit. So band number 11 is, excuse me, I'm so sorry. Band number 11 is done. So I finished up the last 4 of those roses. And the next, So the next line is specialty stitches, and it will actually hit the bottom corner, which I'm super, super duper excited about. So the bands will start getting shorter again after that, which I am looking forward to, because then maybe I could actually double up some of the bands in a month, if I so chose to do so. Here's more of a close-up on just that band that I worked on. So, funny story on this one, or not so funny, depending on how you want to look at it. Okay, so I got to the bottom of this band, and everything was like matching up with the band above it, but the spacing was too far from where this and this, like, it was just too far apart between these two. And I'm sitting there going, okay, how did this match up perfectly? But this is too far apart. Like, I must have screwed this up somehow, because I thought at first it was in the specialty stitches. And I'm sitting there going, what did I do? Well, friends, way up here, before I got this whole band started, in this block here, I added one extra line. So it just moved everything down. It's embarrassing how long it took me to figure that out. But the band itself is fine. It's just one stitch further down than it should be, and that's fine because it doesn't look bad. So my husband's like, you're not really gonna undo all of that, are you? Because by the time I'd realized it, I was down in like these 2 roses. I was like, no, I'm not undoing that. So as long as the stitches themselves match up on either side, I don't care. It's fine. So, and I have plenty of fabric at the bottom, so it'll be okay. But that was like a oh shit moment. So I thought I royally screwed something up, but no, I just added an extra line way at the top before. I'm just glad that it happened there, because anywhere else it would have screwed up the whole band and I would have had to undo it. So silver linings, I guess. All right, the next whip was Paris of My Dreams, which is another Heaven and Earth Designs chart. This one is by Leonid Afremov. And mine is stitched on another 25 count DMC Magic Guide, 2/1 10th stitch. This fabric will be the death of me today. Talk amongst yourselves. Well, I figure out why none of my fabric wants to be nice to me. Okay. That's good enough. All right. Nope. That's going to cover my face. Okay. So this is where we're at from last time. I got 752 stitches. So comparatively to some of these other ones, not a ton. I believe this is the bottom of the page. Yeah, because I think it's 80. No. Is it? Am I holding this wrong? I am holding this wrong. That's embarrassing. Okay, let's try this again. This is where we're at from last time. Yes, that makes more sense. Okay. This is the bottom of the page, now that I have it oriented correctly. So essentially on this one, I'm doing kind of what Jessie Marie Does Stuff does. It's kind of like a diagonal stair stepper. So I start with like the first block and then move here and then go diagonally and then come back to the top and do diagonals across. So these top 2, like to here, that's all done. And then I've just been going down the page. I'm feeling a little bit unsure about this one. I do love it. I do love the colors, and it's a shame because in person they are much more vibrant than I can get on the camera. I do love the colors. It's, you know, every time I look at the picture, I'm reminded of why I decided to stitch it in the first place. I'm just a little concerned because I have, and maybe I'll just go over it in the plans, but I'm a little concerned with how many large full coverages I have in relation to actually finishing them at some point. So I'll talk more about that later, but I am glad I at least got something done. But there might be a change to that one coming. So, all right. So the next whip is Crowned Heart, the Crowned Heart, which is another modern folk embroidery. And I am stitching mine on a 25 count white opalescent Lugana. Make sure I have it the right way. And I said that I was gonna try to do a makeup day for this one, but it was so close to the end of the month when I finally, when the wheel finally spun it, that I just did the normal 500 that I was going for and put it away. So this is what I got done from last time. Hopefully you can kind of see the sparkle in there. This is stitched with, I believe it's DMC color 92. As you can see, it's variegated green. I'm also having a little bit of a struggle with this one. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because I don't like the thread I chose. I don't know if it's because I don't like the fabric. Because I like the sparkle a lot, so I don't think it's the fabric. It might be the size of the fabric. I don't know. Because like when I start working on it, I like the way it looks. Like I think it's turning out really nice. I just don't know why, like when I do spin it or decide to pick it up, it always kind of takes me a minute to get into it. And I probably could have pushed myself to do another 500 stitches on it, but I don't know. Maybe it's the variegation. It kind of hurts my brain a little bit. I feel like the variegation's looking okay. It takes me a minute to even like decide where to place things. So maybe it's just more mental effort. Maybe that's what it is. This is my wedding sampler. One of my lovely subscribers sent me a gift card and I used it to buy the stuff for this so I could do a wedding sampler. So we'll see if this one changes too. My husband does seem to like it. I don't know. Feeling a little unsure about a couple of things. So, all right, and then last but not least, my final whip of the month was Legend of Zelda. And this was an Etsy pattern, and this is actually a restart. I had mentioned a couple times, or at least in the last time I showed it, I keep bumping that, that because I had it on a small count black fabric, I was having a really hard time stitching the dark colors on the dark fabric. It's like stitching white on white. It was just hurting my eyes to look at it. Like I would end up with headaches at the end of working on it. And I would only get like a few hundred stitches in it before I had to put it down. So I was like, you know what? I have fabric, all I have to do, it's like, yes, it adds a bunch of extra stitches to put the black back in, but it's one color. So I went to Joann and they had like a ton of black, which is pretty unusual. But I saw that they had it a bunch, and so I went and I bought all the black I needed, and I restarted it on a 28 count, I think it's easy count fabric. And I got 3,009 stitches. And if that doesn't tell you that this change was a good idea, I don't know what does. So sorry about that. I've put this on a fabric that had a project here and a project here. They didn't pan out, so so you can see them sometimes when I'm trying to show this. Maybe that'll be a little bit better. All right, so this is what we've got on Zelda so far. My goodness, work with me. So this is what we've got. So this is the full width of the piece. It's 400 stitches wide by 700 tall. So this is the whole thing across. And I did that because I didn't want to have to break up the black. I didn't want to end up with weird lines in the black. So I went ahead and stitched all the way across, which is, you can see that the lion's share of my stitches this time was black. But this is closer up to where I've been working mostly. So just up in the center again. This is where I started last time, but I'm kind of filling things in a little bit more as I go. Absolutely love this. It was so much fun. I had such a hard time putting it down and moving on to something else. I actually did a slight alteration in here. They had like a splotch of bright yellow in there, and I think it was supposed to be like a highlight. It just looked bad. I didn't like it. In my opinion, I thought it looked a little funny, and so I changed it. I just went across the whole thing with the same green, and I like the way that looks better. But this is fun. Like, so there's quite a bit of confetti going around in this red circle, pinkish red circle. But as soon as I got into some of these other pieces, it was just like, it flows very naturally because they're just separate pieces because it's the stained glass. And it's just enjoyable. I like it. I've been toying around with doing sort of extreme cross country and doing like a bunch of black and then coming back through and filling it in with the colors. But I'm not quite sure how I'll tackle this one. I'm just really enjoying working on it, so really glad I changed my mind and just went this other way. But that is my last whip. And this is a present for my husband. Like, I grew up with Zelda. I know what Zelda is, but he and his brothers really liked Zelda, and he still does, so decided to make that for him. All right. 13 projects later. That was Whip Parade, an impromptu one. That was not planned. I will actually be doing like a reel from the first of the year Whip Parade in June, or it is June, in July. I'm not quite sure where the first weekend in July falls. Maybe I'll do it on the 4th since I have that day off. I think actually the first falls on the Saturday, maybe? So one way or another, at the beginning of July, I actually am going to do from the first of the year to the halfway point Whip Parade. This was not planned. I didn't mean to do another Whip Parade. This one was actually a real one. The last one didn't have that, like, I didn't have everything. So just to finish off the stats here, I'm only going to do the month of May because I forgot to add in all of the July or June ones. So for the month of May, I got 14,656 stitches. Like I said, I got 7 page finishes. There were 6 full and 1 partial. And I worked on all 13 of my projects. So, and I think I had 1 day where I didn't stitch at all. So 30 days of stitching. It's pretty good. So if that was all you were here for, just for my update, thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. All those things really help out my channel. I'm going to briefly go over a little bit of what I was kind of thinking in regards to plans for the month of June. And then maybe throw in a little bit of life at the end. So, like I said, I'm kind of up in the air right now about my plans for June. I always feel like I need to write stuff down and like have a plan I'm following. And like last month where I just let the wheels do the work, it was actually really enjoyable. And for the most part, when things were called, I was excited to work on them. I don't know if maybe I just got a little burnt out or what, but in the last couple of days where I reset my wheels and started spinning again, even when they were picking projects I hadn't worked on in a while, I was sitting there going, I don't want to work on that. And then I would spin again, I don't want to work on that. So like, it may be a more of a just do what I want June kind of a thing. I'm not really sure what's going on with my stitchy bug right now. I'm a little bit concerned that I did get burnt out with how much I stitched during the month of May. And maybe I'll just focus more on like my finishes that I'd like to get done for the year. So like I said, I did like over 500 stitches yesterday for pandemic. So I'm well into that, the next page. So maybe I'll focus more on that. Maybe it'll be more monogamous this month. Not like just one project, but maybe more like half my projects instead of all of them. So I don't know. We'll see what goes on in June. I'm just not liking the wheels this month. I don't really know what my problem is, but going through all of the stuff I've worked on, there's a few of these that are kind of catching my eye. So maybe I'll just pull those out first and we'll see how it goes. So, and I will still try to get my monthly goals to work on the crowned heart if I don't change it up. I don't know what my hang up is. I really don't. I'm still trying to figure that one out. So I'll at least do my twisted band sampler for sure to get the next band done. I really want to hit that bottom corner. That was really exciting to me to see that was coming up. So, yeah. So that's kind of what I'm thinking for June. As usual, it's kind of abstract, kind of up in the air. We'll see what actually happens, but I think it might be a more focused month, just on a few things that are really catching my eye. I might just need to let go of some of these that I feel like I should work on, but they're not calling to me. So I don't like to force myself to work on stuff. This is a hobby. It's not a chore. So I like to just do what feels good and makes my brain happy. So that's kind of my plan for June. We'll see what happens. Like I said, I'll be back 1st of July for an actual mid-year whip parade to compare to where I was at the beginning of the year, which I think should be fun. It's always really cool to me to see how far I've come when I feel like maybe I haven't done that much, and then I compare to 6 months ago and I'm like, wow, yeah, I have done quite a bit. So that'll be upcoming. As far as life goes, thank you so much for everybody who congratulated me on my new job. That was really sweet of you. I did start my new job on, I think it was the 8th, Monday, May 8th, I think. It's been going pretty well. I really do enjoy working from home. It's definitely helped. If any of you have ever been to Utah, I struggle with the drivers a little bit. So not commuting every day it's been nice. The road rage has gone down a bit. So, but yeah, the job itself has been pretty good. They haven't really like thrown me into the deep end or anything, which is nice. I've been at jobs where they did that to me and it's always very overwhelming. So I have felt like they've been doing a pretty good job kind of like easing me into stuff. So, and everybody's super nice. So I haven't met anybody that I don't really like. So, but like I'm a remote worker from home, so I haven't really met anybody in person yet. So job's going pretty well. My husband actually has been at a new place, a new job too. He was working for his dad. His dad owns a company, so he went to work for him. So we're both kind of navigating new jobs right now. So it's been kind of crazy. We've both been really like exhausted, and yeah. I meant to do a Stitch With Me video in the middle of the month. He actually had a conference that he went to over one weekend, and I was like, oh, that'll be the perfect time to do a Stitch With Me. And then I didn't do it. I spent the day being lazy, taking a nap and doing more stitching and stuff. So, which I'm like, all I had to do was just set up the camera and then it would have been fine. But even that was like too much for me that day. So I do plan to come back for Stitch With Me's in the middle of the month. It's just like I said, this month has been kind of crazy with us both starting new jobs and then trying to figure out our routines in regards to that. And yeah, so I think my massive amount of stitching is more due to just that's all I have energy for is to stitch. So, but also I've been back in therapy recently. I went to therapy like several years ago, and then I started up again a few months ago. But dealing with a lot of the stuff that's bringing up and trying to unlearn things that you learned a long time ago and realize that there's stuff you need to work on, it's kind of a lot. So there's definitely been days where emotionally I couldn't handle doing anything other than stitching. So it's been kind of a hectic month in May. Hopefully June will maybe smooth out a little bit, calm down, and so Stitch With Me might be more doable. So look out for that. Hopefully that actually happens this month. That is definitely on my plan to do, but I am sorry for anybody who was maybe looking forward to that and didn't get it, but hopefully in June we'll make it happen. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave it there because I think with the first part of my video, I'm over an hour now. But thank you to everybody who comes by and watches my video, spends some time with me every time I post something. I really, truly appreciate each and every one of you, all the comments and everything. It's just, I'm incredibly touched by how kind everybody is and how everybody seems to be they just care. And they're just very sweet and generous, and I really appreciate that. Oh man, I meant to do Stitchy Kindness and I forgot. I'll put that in the next one. Someone did send me some Stitchy Kindness, but I will grab that next time because it's like way over there and I don't want to go digging through stuff. But again, thank you so much. Please feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. If you liked anything and you'd like to see it again, go ahead and hit the notification bell so you know when I'm posting next time. Generally, it's at the first part of the month. So I'm going to leave it there. I hope you are all doing fabulously. I hope everything is going your way and you get lots of stitchy time. So I will see you next time. Bye.